Do solemnly swear to truly answer to any such questions asked you by the court or the attorney, so help you God?
I do.
I'm going to start off by asking Mr. Corrigan to outline the charges against Mr. Dolan along with the maximum potential penalties for those charges.
Your Honor, the criminal information in this case charges us to count 1, felony assault with serious bodily injury, that carries with it a maximum term of imprisonment of 20 years. Count 2, also counted felony assault without serious bodily injury, that carries a maximum term of imprisonment of 6 years. Count 3 is also a charge of felony assault, again without bodily injury, carrying a maximum term of 6 years imprisonment. Count 4 is using a firearm while committing a crime of violence resulting in serious bodily injury, that carries with it a statutory term of 20 years imprisonment.
And Mr. Corrigan, I understand you have made an official offer to resolve these charges to Mr. Dolan. Could you outline what that offer is?
Your Honor, the offer from the state is as follows. As to count 1, a 15-year full term, 5 years of that term to be served at the adult correctional institutions, the balance to be suspended with an identical period of probation. As to count 2, 6 years at the ACI, that term to be suspended in full with an identical period of probation. Count 3, 6 years at the ACI, that term to be suspended in full with an identical period of probation. And as to count 4, 20 years at the ACI, suspended in full with an identical period of probation. That term is non-parolable and is to be consecutive to count 1. The state would also offer terms to the sentence, to include no contact orders running to the named victims, and an assessment for anger management counseling to be determined by probation.
Thank you, Mr. Corrigan. The court's had an opportunity to conference this matter a couple of times substantively with the attorneys, and the court would accept the offer the state has made to Mr. Dolan and would impose that sentence if agreeable to Mr. Dolan. Mr. Colucci, does what the state's attorney has just outlined, does that comport with your understanding of the charges and the potential penalties for those charges and the offer that the state has extended?
It does, Your Honor.
And have you discussed the charges, the evidence, and the penalties and the offer with your client?
I am.
Mr. Dolan, are you taking any medications today, or do you have any type of medical condition that could affect your ability to think clearly or affect your ability to understand what we are doing here in court today?
No, Your Honor.
Are you under the influence of any drugs or alcohol as you're standing here right now, sir?
No, Your Honor.
And Mr. Dolan, can you confirm that you've discussed with your attorney the charges that have been brought against you by the state?
Yes, Your Honor.
Can you confirm that you've discussed with your attorney the evidence that the state has to present against you with respect to those charges?
Yes, Your Honor.
Have you also discussed the potential penalties if you were to be convicted of these charges?
Yes, Your Honor.
And have you discussed the offer that the state made to resolve those charges?
Yes, we have.
Did your attorney answer any and all questions that you might have had about the charges, the evidence, the potential penalties, or the state's offer?
Yes, Your Honor.
And after discussing these matters with your attorney, is there anything about the charges or the penalties or the state's offer that you do not understand?
No, Your Honor.
And are you satisfied with the representation by your attorney?
Yes, I am.
And you understand, sir, that the potential penalties for the charges brought against you in this case, should you be convicted, could result in a total potential exposure to you of a sentence of, in total of up to 52 years?
Yes, Your Honor.
And do you understand, Mr. Dolan, that this is the last chance that you have to resolve these charges on the terms that the state laid out? In other words, on the terms that involve potential prison sentence of 5 years to serve?
Yes, Your Honor.
And you understand, sir, that once this matter is passed to the trial calendar, that that proposal, that offer goes off the table?
Yes, Your Honor.
The decision, Mr. Dolan, as to whether or not you wish to accept the state's offer is solely your decision. You can consult with your attorney, and your attorney can advise you, but the choice as to whether or not to accept the state's offer is solely your own. And I've been represented to me by your attorney that you do wish to reject that offer. Is that the case?
Yes, Your Honor.
And are you making this decision of your own free will, sir?
I am.
Has anybody forced you or coerced you into rejecting the state's offer?
No, Your Honor.
This is your voluntary decision.
Yes, Your Honor.
You'd like to take this case to trial.
Yes, Your Honor.